because you're sitting here. You're staying here within this palette, which, of course, the other part, which you're in and operating in, we have more than two minds, of course. Our gut is a mind. Hello, operating mind. So that's another thing is for the casing, the body. The mental mind here is, of course, that spirit man, and them, of course, being balanced. And then the containing of the heart, what is really resonating there. So you have these three areas, lower, middle, and high range frequencies, that would have to be in balance continuously, even if it steps out of place sometimes. But it's only stepping out of place to bring itself back into balance. It's like a sharpening tool, you know? It's like if you look at, okay, this has happened, or this has happened to me, or happening to me. What am I supposed to be getting from this? As we discussed prior, when you start to listen to certain spirits, and you listen without reproach, like you just like take heed, smell it, know it. Okay, so that part's for me, but that's all you. Okay. Not something that you always have to articulate, but there's something in the root of that. I recall when I was much younger, not like I'm old now, but
No,
I'm ancient but not old. I used to say, I would rather listen to the dull and the ignorant, because it allows me to establish a base for what I know to become true. Because some people can be quite ignorant or even naive in a certain thing, but it also gives me a reference point to be able to balance myself, where sometimes I've been naive in a certain area. Where stupidity comes in is it's because you now are no longer naive. You have the knowledge, but you choose to continue this. This is just, you're just being stupid here. You're just allowing yourself to do that.
I've been there.
Yeah. Girl, all of us could shake a bell. I'm for myself, but I got shit too. Like, what the? You know, now it's just become things that are more external, because you started to resonate so much within self that now it's the external things that you have to get past that movement. Like, what? I need that person to be in line with that person or that situation to get that in line for me to move like this, so I can work my magic, because I use my magic to this point. But once you use your magic to this point, you still need the elements, because you're resonating in this 3D dimension to move and shift. And sometimes those elements come through people. And sometimes people don't be on their shit. So now you got to find another way. You got to wait for the answers. Say, no, go that way then, because that person didn't do what they... This part.
I'm a piggyback.
I went through so much stress, my God. And then it came after, more of it came after I had established it, made it, and then the rug was pulled from underneath me.
Exactly, yeah.
And I was like, and it was somebody in the house that did this to me?
Yeah.
I lost all of that. What the? Of course. And then here goes all your hair coming out, and here goes... And you're just like sick. You're causing this embodiment of glucose now just being spiked all the time. And because you're just, how can I be so stupid? How could I miss this? This is the person in the house with me that just took the rug from under me. You know, this sort of thing.
How do you survive now? How do you get out of this?
How do I get out of this? And there's always, there will always be a level of exit or escape or moving on, or getting out. There always will be. Even if you get to your fulfillment with having certain things, especially if you want to continue to expand and grow and move on, you're going to go through those particular doors. The depth of it, though, is how you go through the doors. In the past, I would go through with like fear and scared shit, like, fuck, how the hell? But then I also went through a lot of things that people would not think, because here you are, you have it, you have this and but I know what it is to be homeless. I know what it is to, be living out and under a church with real crazy people and all that. Wait, not to violate it, been drug. You start to now bring all of that awareness, not in shame, but now to use that as a vehicle to help propel you to keep you persistent along the journey, because it just changes. So a couple years back, okay, before I went to Kemet, okay, I got all this, and here comes the rug. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
right. I finally get it right here, and I did it in my own self with this capacity, with da 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 da, and now I have to start over.
Yeah.
What?
And I think too, not.
That was a lesson. You had to do that so you can feel that all of those elements and these movements that you've been making have been elements that help you secure your even current state, where you can just be like, okay, wait a minute. The quicker you were able to shift out of that particular thought is because you went through these certain elements to go, no, I need to let that go.
But what I also
You can't feel bad about that, because that was there for you to compassion. That was also there for them, to give them something, because you aided in something that was necessarily for them. You didn't want them to become addicted or, so dependent on your particular action that they wouldn't do anything. Because for me, to look at people, of course, that I was even close to, okay, you're sitting on $30 million, $40 million, but you won't even help the person outside the door. I don't have that much money, and I'm gonna help somebody outside. Why? Because I believe they deserve it. But at the same time, and I would do that everywhere we went, even when I was homeless. My daughter was given $1 on the bus because she had to ride, the train station in Chicago. She gonna give her own $1, and we don't have no money.
Right.
Because you start to enter and overstand going in Rome, Italy, all these other places, and you're giving people money, and because I knew that feeling, the very same thing you would give. And then Spirit said, watch and observe. So you don't just give to anybody.
Right.
That's careless. That's foolishness. Don't stop your giving.
Right.
But now your giving will start to be more channeled and selective, and because you know the depth of what I always want to do. I want and I desire that fulfillment to be endless supply of resources, period. So when I am led, how it's led, that I can give unto, not now from the source of, I know what that feeling is, now from the abundance of, I know what this feeling is, I know what it is to have, I know what it is to do. So even in the operation system where you go, okay, shit, I got stuff to do right now. Like, I got things to do. Well, how am I going to do this? Okay, start selling things. Because you got to lighten yourself up. Okay, you got to let go the attachments. You got to, okay, you're doing that, fine. But at the same time, because it's a new opening. If you were able to build and establish these things so big before it became popular, even in the United States, now they got a whole series on Real Housewives. But you was a Real Housewife in Europe. They didn't know about your little black ass. But that's okay. No, now you have to renew yourself in that, but you renew yourself from a place not of lack, but of abundance.
Yes.
But of abundance. So the very thing. Yes. So and because you're directing your intent, you're putting that currency, whether it be your time, your money, your words of wisdom, into somebody else, into a good soil, good ground. That seed is going to go a lot further. So you can give 2 people 1,000, but one of those seeds are going to seem like it's going a whole lot further than the other seed.
Yeah.
Why is that? It's not because of your giving. It's because of what was placed, where you placed the giving.
You have to, and I'm not a trash can. Yeah, it's like
girl.
Get to the where
Girl.
turn off my phone.
But this is okay. Remember, we discussed that many times before. The hovering, it's not you, and there's things hovering over you, just like, ooh, why I feel like this, or what's that? And it's because people have access to your aura. And then they have access to your aura and they have access to your ear, they're going to be in your mind and your heart. And then all in your atmosphere, right here. Okay, so you're, okay, I heard that. So, okay, so because you're resonating right in the place of self-identity, self-awareness, self-love, self-expansion, these sort of things. But you have and been given the mantle to be able to go into correct, be the ambassador, speak to, see, say, and solve, this sort of thing. Allow the divine force that you have now embodied to take on to also not just work in you, but through you, to you, and around you. Now, with these type of people coming and saying, okay, well, why are you coming to me, you're absolutely right in a correction, because you're setting boundaries. Not necessarily for them, you're setting boundaries for the self. What you are not willing to tolerate and what you are. And then the things that you are not willing to tolerate, you're standing. Now you're going to start to now stand and operate from a place of correction for people. So the more clarity you get in sitting in your seat, as you sit in your seat more with your health and all these different things, you're now going to, when people call you such as that, you'll be able to speak a certain thing, and you're going to hear from spirit what to say, regardless of what comes back to you. Will not be dismayed by their faces. You now are going to become a clear portal. This is what you've seen operating with me or anybody else, a clear portal to be utilized. You needed to go through a certain process to be able to cut away the cords. The people that are the close would be the family. If you couldn't cut the family's bullshit out, how can I use you to deal with other people that is external of thee? And then if you're giving power to the people that are external of thee, and I've given you the mantle, thus says your higher self, the higher divine consciousness, how can then I use you when I need you, when that person picks up the phone and says, oh, so-and-so is doing this and that. Well, what the hell are you doing? You've been sitting on this, you'll be able to come in and give direction. Allow the spirit in this to be like, ooh, hey, that's not me. Because you won't intertwine and mix somebody else's life and what they're going through with what you're going through.
Exactly, which is what I used to do in the past.
Yeah, you embodied it all. You would embody it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a sponge. Yeah.
Yeah.